Welcome to the Sarah Scoop Show. It's time to get the scoop with Sarah. Hello!
Hi!
We have Stephanie and AJ from Married at First Sight here to join us to answer questions. You guys have a lot of people interested in what you've been doing during quarantine. I will tell you that was one of our biggest pre-questions.
Okay. Yeah,
working.
The first couple of months we were, I was drowned in work and we kind of switched and I took over his office. And then the last couple of months we've been trying to get our lives back to normal by going out more often with eating out, now that they're opening restaurants. So,
yeah, and then I had to kick you out of the office, as everybody saw on Couples Cam. So
Yeah.
the first few months were difficult for me. My business stopped overnight. I own a staffing agency and everybody stopped hiring. So I had to refocus. I started doing career services and resume writing for people, and that really took off because that's where the focus is now. So it came a time where I had to knock on the door and say, "Hey, babe, I need my office back." And it wasn't an easy task to do.
Yeah.
So going back a little bit, like to Married at First Sight, and just I'm sure that like people probably even with quarantine were like rewatching your season and just all of that. Going back and putting yourself back in that situation, what was it like? Like, how did you even end up on Married at First Sight?
It's definitely easy to binge watch during quarantine, like rewatch all the old shows. Yeah, man, we both wanted to do it. I think we're at a point,
Obviously.
Obviously. We're at a point in our life where we just wanted to be married and we didn't have time to date. We don't have time for failed dates and swiping left and right and having to worry about, oh, are you going to call me tomorrow? We just wanted the commitment and we wanted it quickly, and we didn't want to like have to worry about dating.
Yeah, I just if I see an opportunity, whether it's in my professional life or in my love life, to have an expert help me with doing something that I'm clearly not an expert at, I'm going to take that opportunity.
And with that being said, I mean, now you guys are looked at as like an expert in relationships and like couple goals.
Far from it.
Yeah,
We're still learning the ropes as we go. We're still maneuvering through this.
Well, you wouldn't believe how many people were like, what's their best advice on making a marriage work? And so there are people that are checking you guys and following and thinking that way. So
I would say the best advice to make a marriage work is you both have to want to make the marriage work. People are adults. We know how to maneuver through things if we really want to.
And you have to dedicate the time for it. That, like, I would say thinking about Married at First Sight and the struggles with filming and balancing work and balancing being on TV and all these other things, like your life kind of gets taken over with so many things that's not normal that you can forget the main reason why you did the show. And so we kind of like knew immediately just to rise above and put everything else aside and focus on each other. So like every day at midnight, 1 a.m. when we're tired and we're ready to go to bed, we would stay up and learn about each other.
Pillow talk until 3 a.m.
Yeah. So it really helped us grow pretty quick.
And so the whole, process, and I mean, there's a season on right now and they're casting, like what advice do you guys get for people then in that situation that are going through what you went through?
Can I take this?
Yeah.
So it comes down to honesty. They ask tough questions, questions that you may want to answer a certain way because you think it's the more politically correct way, or you're embarrassed to say that you actually like this or don't like that, or whatever the case may be. And you have to answer these questions knowing who you are. You also have to know who you are. So it's really about putting yourself all out there and not telling people what they want to hear. It's telling people what you want them to hear because it's what you want.
Yeah, if you aren't honest throughout the process, the brand new person getting to know you is going to think you're different than who you really are. So it's going to change their reactions to you. And then you're not going to like their reactions because it's not who you are and what you need. And so you really do have to be honest. And then not only just in the process, but before you even make it in the interview process, it's critical.
That's what I was talking about. I was talking about in the initial interview process.
Yeah, because if you say, "Oh, I'm such a sweet person and I do everything right," well, you're not going to get matched with someone that's in your best interest. Like, I had to straight up be honest and say, look, I know the reason why all my past relationships fail is because I have a huge friend circle. I work too many hours and I have a loud mouth. So can you match me with someone? And I travel too much.
Who also has a loud
So
mouth?
match me with someone that can handle that, because I'm 36. I'm not going to change. So find me someone that can, yeah, I'm 37 now, that can handle that. And they did.
AJ, did you always love traveling as much as Steph? Is that something Steph kind of encouraged you to do, or how does that work with your relationship?
So, yes, I've always loved traveling. I have not traveled nearly as much as I do now with Steph. She is definitely more well-versed in traveling than I am, but I've always loved it. I just never had anybody to do it with. So, you know, a lot of my friends are married, or, you know, taking a trip, like the trips we go on, it's very different when you're going with one of the boys. You know, it's a guy's trip is just different. So I haven't, you know, I'd rather go to Vegas with the boys than go to like a really nice city in Spain or something like that. So yeah, I traveled, but no, most of the time it was just to see friends of mine that I knew and I would stay with them.
Tell them about the one thing that I kind of made you learn how to do to travel.
You've taught me so much. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah. One of the parts of our marriage that I had to agree to on the spot was I would learn how to scuba dive. If not, she was exiting altar to the left. You know?
I'll leave you if you won't scuba dive.
So yeah, and I was up for it. I've always wanted to scuba dive. I've lifeguarded and been in the water my whole life. I grew up on the ocean, but it's always on the surface. I always wanted to be underneath it, but I never had anybody to do it with. I'm also an only child, so you know, I never had that brother or sister or anybody like that to learn how to scuba dive with. So when the opportunity presented itself and she told me you need to do this, I was all about it. And I love it now.
Yeah, that was one of our first trips after the whole season finished ending and we had our decision day. We went right to the Bahamas to get him scuba certified.
While we're on the topic of travel, what's your favorite place to travel?
I think I know yours.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's cool because I'm not even sure I know mine yet.
Our official honeymoon to ourselves, not on camera, we went to Africa on a safari. And it like opened a whole new world for him. And I think that was his favorite place.
I realized how insignificant we really are as humans, how much we throw the balance of nature off. And it was, I don't know, it was very enlightening for me.
Really humbling. Yeah.
I'll never go to a zoo again. Not after seeing them in their natural habitat, that's for sure. But yeah, but we also love Belize.
Yeah. Anywhere tropical where we can scuba dive is probably my favorite.
Stephanie, you touched on this just a little bit, and AJ, you may have felt the same way, but you were saying how like you knew why you hadn't met somebody, but it also sounded like you weren't just going to settle on anyone. Like you both were, you know, obviously meant to find each other and all of that. Like going back to like both of your single days, like what was it that kept you like looking for each other, I guess, rather than just settling?
I'm not a settler. I mean, I wasn't necessarily dying to get married. I knew that I wanted to, but at that very point in time, the opportunity presented itself. It wasn't like I was clawing at the walls. And I've said it before that if this didn't work out, if the show didn't work out and we ultimately ended up getting divorced afterwards, I probably went right back onto my career path rather than starting swiping or anything like that. So I was ready, but I was patient. I was okay with if this didn't work out, waiting another year or 4 or 5 or however many years it takes to find that right person. So.
Yeah, because he was single for like 5 years before getting married. I was single for maybe a year. I mean, I had some long-term relationships for several years because that's what I've wanted, and I just didn't want to settle either. So I also didn't want to be with bad relationships that I wasn't meant to be with. So it's like a combination of both. So yeah.
We're still discovering stuff about each other and what, you know, each other's pet peeves and things that work and things that don't work and things I should never ever do again and things I can do again. Like it's every day is still a new adventure for us.
And I know we get to like see the show, you know, you filmed it, then we get to see it. So how long have you guys officially been married?
2 years and a month-ish. Yeah.
Our 2-year anniversary was in September.
Okay, and that's from like being married at first sight, not like after the show or anything like when you
No,
got
that's
married.
our legit wedding day,
Yeah.
day that we got married.
Yeah.
So going to the show, like, I mean, I think it's always really interesting because we see these shows, which obviously, you know, they're for entertainment, but they're also, you guys are real people that, so it's just cool to know that like when you actually got married at first sight, that was your real wedding day. That was your real marriage. And
Oh yeah. They're super strict about that.
Yeah.
You don't know the name. You don't know a photo. You don't know a ring. Like all you know is a ring size. So you can pick out a ring. You know nothing else. And they're like really good about keeping that quiet.
I'm surprised I didn't have a blindfold on at the altar and they took it off literally when you were standing in front of me. At least I got to see her walking down the aisle. That was the first glimpse I had as she came into focus.
But Philly's kind of a small city. So once you realize that you're matched, there's like a 2-week time period right before the weddings, like week and a half or so, that you're just walking down the street looking at every person wondering like, are you my husband?
Yeah.
Are you my husband?
Playing the Are You My Wife game. I was gonna like, is that her? Could that be her?
And you guys are both like so, you know, real on the show and on Couples Cam. We get to see you being real. Was it just like, I don't like with the cameras out of nowhere, pretty much like you went on this experience and you have cameras following you and they're still following you, or, you know, set up and people are watching your life. How was that adjustment?
The production part where on the actual show where there's a whole crew around you at all times, multiple cameramen, audio guy, sound guy, like it's hard just because now you're abiding to their schedule and we're both really busy with work. So we had problems balancing the time commitment and it really like played hard on us, made us tired, grouchy, like behind on work. So just being able to balance the schedule. I mean, it's another full-time job. I was 40 hours a week filming and then 50 hours a week of work. Now with Couples Cam, it's not like that at all. It's so much easier because it's self-shot. So we can fit it in at our own time, at our own leisure. And so it works a lot better for us. Someone says, where's your next vacation? We are going to St. Lucia
for
Christmas.
I think this might be the first place we're going that you haven't been.
Yeah.
Well, Africa. Well, you've been to South Africa, but you haven't been to safaris.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you guys watch the new seasons of Married at First Sight?
Yes. I do more.
She's a diehard fan. She has been since season 0, basically. And for me, it's a little different. If she's sitting around and watching it, I will. But I like to keep up with the couples and know who they are because eventually some of them are going to join the Mass family. So I keep on top of it, but I'm not diehard, have to sit in front of the TV and watch it. There's a lot of names to remember now.
And after all, it still is like reality TV. It's chick flicks. So,
yeah, it's on Lifetime. Like,
yeah, most men aren't really watching it.
It's like whenever a guy comes up to me, recognizes me, he always they're like, "Oh, hey, you're AJ from that show or whatever." And in a serious face look, I'm like, "Why you watch Lifetime, bro?" You know, and they're like, "My wife or my girlfriend or whatever," and then we just laugh.
What is like in your guys' future? I know you guys probably get like growing your family or any of those kinds of things. I know people were asking earlier what's next for Steph and AJ.
I wish we knew what was next. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is on the table that we've talked about. It's buying a house and moving outside of Philly, but the thing is we don't know where we want to move. Children, but we want to have children till we're moved and we don't know where we want to move. So there's a lot of things that are come into play. And with things that happened this year in 2020 with my business taking a hit and things like that, it kind of set us back a little bit. So we're just right now, we're kind of just starting to talk about all that and figure things out rather than have them figured out already like we had planned.
Yeah, we love living in the city, but we're also now with COVID and everything changing around the city, we're getting pretty tired of it. So maybe our first big move is actually moving out of the city and getting our own place. All I really want is to be on the water and have a boat, and all he really wants is a garage he can work on cars. And we have none of that in our apartment here. So
we want a go-kart track in the backyard or bumper boats. We'll take either or.
Big dreams.
Someone's asking who wears the pants in the family.
I think we equally trade them back and forth.
I think we're both got one leg in each pant leg.
Some days he's 100%, some days I am, but we trade them.
Other days we're sharing. They're sweatpants, so they stretch.
Earlier, they also were asking your favorite Halloween movie. I think it's so interesting when people want to know just like personal facts about you guys too. Like obviously we know you from Married at First Sight, but it's interesting what you guys, the fans that you guys have now.
It is, and we love communicating with our fans all the time. We get questions like this, and it's so fun to answer them.
Yeah, and actually, this is a funny one to answer. It just goes to show you we still learn about each other 2 years later.
Yeah, I don't know yours.
Because from what I remember, what you told me a year ago is you don't even like scary movies.
I don't.
See, I love scary movies, but I haven't watched one in 2 years.
So I don't like jump out of your seat, scare you, and make you jump like that scary. I don't mind if it's gory or like frightening, but I don't like the rah like that. So I mean,
I do. I like to be like.
I'm still gonna have to go with like Pet Sematary. It's a classic Halloween movie.
What about like The Shining? Do you like The Shining?
No, not so much.
No. Oh, it's a classic.
Like The Grudge got me. I didn't sleep. I still don't sleep for days at a time if I think about The Grudge.
What about like just Halloween or any of the Scream movies?
Scream, yeah.
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 I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. But those, yeah. I was thinking more of the classics.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this is quite the topic now. Like we're sitting here, we totally
converting.
forgot about everybody else. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, I don't know what. Man, I'm gonna have to get back to this question.
There was this really strange, oddly produced movie called The Cube that I made AJ watch.
I'll never get those 2 hours back in my life. Ever.
This is like an inside joke that I have with my family growing up as little kids, that it was just such a terrible, haunted, scary movie that we just can't stop watching it. It's like a train wreck that you can't turn away.
It's not haunted and scary, though.
It is scary. It's like these humans are trapped in a big Rubik's Cube, and there's booby traps in every cube. And so people are going into a cube, and they're getting chopped up and dying. And
it's more gory.
Yeah, but it's got a mystery piece to it.
The
It's
Cube
just terrible. But now, I watch it so much. It's like this inside joke with my family, and we laugh how it's so bad of a movie, but we all still talk about it to this day. So I made him watch it for the first time a few months ago.
The movie's probably only been seen by 100 people in the whole world since 1986 when it was made. Now people are going to watch this. It's going to have like 20,000 views in a matter of a day.
What? This is going to be like the next remake. I feel like they're remaking everything. It'll be The Cube next. It'll be like, we heard about that from Steph and AJ.
We could remake it. It looked like it only cost about $500 to $1,000 to make to begin with, so we could probably remake it pretty easy. It's just them in a cube.
Yeah, people are asking where can they stream it. I told you guys.
Netflix. We found it on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, you can just type it anywhere. It's probably on everything that you can stream it on. It's such an old, unpopular movie. If there's a site that tries to charge you for it, I go somewhere else.
Yeah, don't.
It's not worth it. Not even 99 cents.
No.
You guys went through like such a unique experience, and of course there was other couples going through it with you. Do you still stay in touch with them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially like Keith and Christine, we do a lot because they're also doing couples cam with us.
Yep.
But
we go out to dinner with them a lot. We'll go have a fun night. I talk to Will still, more so online, but we've been trying to plan to get together, and me, Keith, and Will, the boys want to get together one day.
Yeah, and Jasmine and Kate, I still chat with every once in a while. We have like, our girls group chat that we'll talk in, but I don't see them as much as I do Christine, but it's still great to catch up with them.
No, I think that's cool because obviously you guys found, a relationship together, but then friendships along the way.
Yeah, that was a nice part about it. I mean, Keith and I became pretty close. We'll still call each other up sometimes because we're in this together, so we kind of get it. If we need an open ear to talk to that maybe nobody else would really understand because they knew their wife before they got married, then, we'll call each other, stuff like that. So we've become pretty tight.
And they're close to us, too, in the city.
Do you guys, for couples cam, do you just submit whatever you feel like? Or, is that all real? Or are you, that's what people are also curious about. Is that your real life? Or are you guys filming certain things to share?
So it is all stuff that we choose to do, ideas that we have. Obviously, if something's going to take 10 minutes, we have to extend it a little bit so it's enjoyable for everybody. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much all, I don't want to say free produced because there is a producer that's being produced from afar, but it's more so for professional guidance, not really for telling us what to do in scenes. It's our ideas. It's stuff we like to do.
Yeah. So we'll be like, oh, we like the one episode where we had like the swimming pool in the apartment. So AJ knew he wanted to surprise me because I've been working like crazy and I was getting cabin fever. I'm used to traveling. I couldn't travel anywhere. So he was just trying to think of some way to cheer me up. And he thought of it, but we had our producer like give us some help on how to execute it. So that way it would look good to the viewer.
To the viewers too. So yeah, it's definitely all us. And one thing I told them in the beginning, because we're asked if we want to do this, we're not told we have to or anything like that. And I just said, you know, when we film, I want us to already be doing something that we're just bringing the camera along for, rather than doing something for the camera specifically.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we do now. That's why you see us going on vacations, and it's easy and fun for us because we're already doing that, and we just brought a camera along with us.
Yeah, I'm not an actor.
No.
I suck at acting.
We've tried. We can't do
I'm
it.
not good at
We've tried to recreate a scene.
Yeah, we get frustrated. We're like, ah.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this later.
I overact. When I try to act, I get too much into it.
So going back to like Married at First Sight, what was your favorite? I mean, obviously, probably you guys are going to say meeting each other, but aside from that, like, what was your favorite part of the whole experience?
Can I take this?
Yeah, go for it.
So,
yours is going to be nice and sweet.
well, mine was not. Well, sure, meeting each other was great because I just wanted to put the mystery at rest. But the wedding day isn't the best day. It's just like, it's not personal to you. You know, every girl dreams of her wedding day, but you know who the person is. So
And you designed it together.
Yeah. So to me, it was just a step in the process to get me to the ultimate goal that I wanted. I had no personal ties to the wedding day. So that's why, like, I wasn't nervous. I didn't care what the colors were. I didn't care about anything else. But what my best favorite part was ever was our 1 month anniversary, because that's when we really knew that we were like in love. And we were doing all this special stuff for each other. We came up with these creative gifts for each other. Yeah. And you could just tell that this was it, like at the 1 month anniversary. And we had so much fun. We did like go-karts. We went to a winery. It was just a really special day.
We raced cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a lot of fun stuff. And again, it's, you know, these are all our ideas. None of these were told that this is the surprise you're giving her, or this is the surprise you're giving him. These are all our ideas. So it was fun having to do stuff for each other and just trying to get more and more creative. I still like to do that.
Yeah. One tradition came out of that. He got me these super sweet tropical flowers that he ordered and delivered in Costa Rica when we were on the honeymoon. And
with the birds of prey.
Yeah,
or birds
the birds of paradise.
I call them birds of prey, sorry.
And so he recreated that entire flower basket for our 1 month anniversary. These are tropical flowers. You can't find them in Philadelphia. He like had some florists ship them in from South America somewhere just to give them to me. Good. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
And then we just had them again in Cabo.
Yep.
I tried to get them for the 1 year anniversary in Australia, but it's impossible to get tropical flowers in Australia. Yeah. So I failed on that one, but I managed to pick it back up this year when we had our 2 year anniversary and had them waiting for her at the hotel in Cabo when we got there.
So the little thoughtful things, I think, is like what also really made us successful, because yeah, I mean, there's big stuff to talk about, but we love living in the moment. And just like the little things that I think we do for each other really helps.
Just get creative. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just get creative. You know, it's all about what means something.
Yeah. Oh, and my basket, I got him a beer basket. Who would have thought that I married the one man in the world that isn't really a beer drinker? So I like got him this huge, massive gift basket full of beer, and every beer was tied to something about my personality, so it could relate to me. And like, he doesn't even drink beer. So it's like, shit.
I'm looking at it right now. We literally have it like right there. And it's still set up exactly like it was on the wedding day. I love it. All the bottles are still full. Not a single one has been drank.
Wait, so did you get this gift for him then before you met? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
so you like, have no idea. Like, they don't even tell you a few things they like.
No, we have no
Nothing.
idea. We have to buy a wedding gift for each other and write our own vows. I mean, that was difficult in itself, writing our vows for a stranger. Don't even know her name.
Yeah.
AJ,
Knew
you
nothing
got a
about
comment
him.
there that
I just
says
assumed
need
you
to
would
teach-
like beer.
AJ, you got a comment there that says you need to teach a master class for other husbands.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. I'm far from a master at this. I still got a long ways to go. I'm still learning.
He does a good job.
When you guys, like, you know, barely knew each other and you got married and maybe you had disagreements, like, how did you deal with that? Like, for people, even if they're just dating and they start, you know, arguing or disagreeing, like, with kind of your strangers a little bit, well, you were, did you guys have disagreements or did you just get along pretty well?
Can I take this one?
Sure.
Because I disagree a little bit more than you do.
Yeah.
Everybody saw and knows. I think a lot of it is, first, I don't want to say a lot, but first, you have to learn how the other person disagrees, like what their style is. And you have to learn how, you know, her and I have very, very different, I don't want to use the word argument, but disagreement styles. And you have to learn that other person's style and know how to effectively communicate through it or with it and respect it too.
A couple of our first disagreements that we had when we were still filming, I don't even know if it was with each other. I think we were just so frustrated and overwhelmed. And I remember walking into the apartment we were filming in, and I was just crying because I couldn't manage work and I couldn't manage my schedule. And I was so overwhelmed and frustrated because I knew I had to start filming at like 6 o'clock. And I'm like, I can't film. I have a million deadlines to make. I have all this stuff to do at work. What am I going to do? And I just like broke down. And he was the best. And he's like, if you're going to break down, do it like in the bedroom. Like he pulled me out of the cameras. He's like, do it over there. I was like,
I'm like, push her in the bathroom. The only place they don't go is the bathroom. Like, push her in the bathroom. Like, get in the bathroom. You have to poop. No, I'm kidding.
So we like, I don't know, I feel like we really get each other and we just were able to tell when someone else is pissed off or can't handle something, because a lot of times it's not really at each other. It's just at a situation that we just can't handle in the moment. So we try to help fix it. Now that we're 2 years in, we get mad at each other, but
we'll get mad at each other for other situations that didn't have to do with each other.
We're going to do something new with you guys for our first on this show. So we are going to play a game called 10 Scoops, and we're going to get 10 scoops about you guys. So
okay.
You guys can answer however you want. Favorite food?
Mexican.
Avocados.
Wow, you got really specific. Let me say tacos then, with avocado on it.
Oh, that was hard on the spot. Ice cream.
Guacamole.
Oh yeah, guacamole. I'll say guacamole.
All-time favorite show?
So you think you can dance?
NCIS.
I danced a lot of years when I was little, so I have like personal connections.
I took tap and jazz for 4 years. It's like 6 to 10, not my adult years. I still to this day believe my mother wanted a daughter. But
when you were younger, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be a vet because I'm obsessed with koala bears.
I wanted to be a pediatric surgeon from the age of like 5 because I wanted to help babies.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to be a baby doctor. You ask my mom, growing up, all I wanted to be was a baby doctor. And then once I got to high school, I realized that after I did 12 years of high school, there was another 12 years of college, and that's what killed that one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like all my friends would be like firemen and police officers, and I wanted to be a pediatric surgeon because I wanted to help babies.
You guys, I never knew this.
I can't believe my mother never told you that. That's one of my mother's like pride moments about my childhood. Is that her son wanted to be a pediatric surgeon.
Wow.
Now he's a reality TV star.
God.
Close.
A quote that you live by, if you have one.
You sleep when you're dead.
If you're not living life with 1 foot over the edge, you're taking up too much space.
They were not prepared, and I feel like your answers are awesome. It's like, these are good.
I really say you sleep when you're dead so much. Like, he probably would call me a crazy person for as little amount of sleep as I get.
There's a lot of reasons I call you a crazy person, but yeah, that's one of them.
That's true.
I know we did show, but what's favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Mine is Invincible.
I thought yours was Cube.
Go Eagles.
Mine's Top Gun. All day, all week, always has been, always will be.
Embarrassing story. I know these are hard, but I feel like you guys are funny. You guys will have
Embarrassing story.
So we could tell him the refrigerator story, or we could tell him the nachos story.
Nachos. I like the refrigerator story because I'm not the one being embarrassed.
Okay.
This is a good one. This is a good one. Listen up, everybody.
So when we first got married, of course,
I can't.
you're scared about how you're going to poo with this new person. So like, and I already knew he's like, oh, females don't poop. It's just not a thing. It doesn't
It just
happen.
magically disappears.
So the entire time I was so good about like not letting him know at all when I had to go. Like I was really good.
Okay, you don't have to get too much detail. Keep going.
When we got back to the apartment, there was one random night where I went downstairs. We had a bathroom upstairs, bathroom downstairs. So I went to the downstairs bathroom before bed so I could go to the bathroom.
But there was a balcony that hung over from the top, but you couldn't see the bathroom, but you could yell over it and like talk to each other from top to bottom.
So I'm in the bathroom doing my business and he's like screaming at me from upstairs, hey, Steph, blah, blah. And I'm not answering it because I'm like in the bathroom, like, oh my God, I can't let him come down here.
She didn't leave any lights on downstairs. I thought she was down there in the dark. I'm like, what is she doing?
Yeah, I turned off all the lights and
never dawned on me she poops because girls don't poop.
So finally, there was a little light on, the bathroom light. And I go back upstairs and he's like, I was calling your name. You didn't hear me? And I was like, no. Because there was a little light on. And I was like, oh, I know why I didn't hear you. I had my head in the refrigerator. I was getting water. And the little light you saw was the light of the fridge when I opened the door. Okay. And the fan comes on in the fridge, you know, and so my head was in there, getting water. I couldn't
She was very convincing. She's like, oh, my head was in the refrigerator. I was organizing some bottles. I grabbed a bottle of water and I guess you saw the refrigerator light. She's very nonchalant and very convincing.
And he was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
It literally wasn't until like a year later that I told him what I was doing. It was not in the refrigerator.
So now we call it going to the fridge.
Describe each other, because we've got two of you guys, in one word.
I have to answer a question. I think a taco would win in a fight, but keep going. Describe each other in one word. You go first.
Loquacious.
Oh. Dr. Jess called me that.
Pastor Cal called you that.
No, it was Dr. Jess.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to blend two words together. Emotionally stable. She's just very even keeled. Me, I'm, and she's just straight across the board.
Yeah. Someone asked earlier your favorite place to eat in Philly specifically. So let's do that so people that come there can know where to go.
So in Philly, my favorite place is Monk's Cafe because it's a Belgian beer bar and it's super world famous. There's like thousands of beer there. And that's my favorite thing to do is drink rare specialty beers.
But that's more of like you're going there for the beer, not the food. The food's good, but it's not.
Our favorite in Philly is probably like Pistolas, Jose Pistolas or Pistolas del Sur. Yeah, they're Mexican restaurants that we really love. And
it's always a tough one for me. The restaurants change here so much. Like, you know, especially now with everything, a lot of our favorite restaurants are no longer there and new ones are opening up. So yeah, I'm going to have to go with Del Sur probably and Pistolas.
So this user is asking, Philly's fan is asking Pat's or Gino's.
Neither.
So I've always been a Pat's person.
They are all for marketing. My big thing is when I get any type of food, I want to taste the love in it. I want to feel like it was made with someone that was proud to make it. Both Pat's and Gino's, all they are is just tourist traps that are just throwing it on there. You can literally taste the lack of love in it.
Meanwhile, I love Pat's because they're like slopping it on. They're putting on extra cheese and they're like, next, next. And I'm like, yeah, give me that Philly grunge.
No, and I want to see somebody with a smile that's proud to be putting a sandwich together, not somebody that's just pissed off at work and there's. It's like Adam Sandler, right, like sloppy Joes. That's what I picture in my head at Pat's and Gino's.
And it's even better after like a big sports win. So if the Eagles win or if the Flyers win, the lines around Pat's is so big and it just adds to the atmosphere.
Pat's and Gino's are like 7-Eleven sandwiches. They're great when you're wasted.
So you can see the disagreements we have.
If you could share a scoop of ice cream with anyone, who would it be? Can be
mine would probably be like Lori Greer.
Grenier. You don't even know who you're going to share a scoop of ice cream with last name?
No, I guess not.
I'm probably going to go with
She's cool, man.
Nick Woodman, the creator of GoPro. One of my favorite billionaires.
Oh, that would be fun.
I have a list of favorite billionaires. One day I hope to associate with them.
Hey, there we go. I like that.
Yeah, maybe I would take mine back. I don't know.
Mark Cuban's up there for me too.
We can give you 2 scoops, Stephanie. It's okay.
I'd probably want. You know what? I think I'd pick my grandma. I miss her.
Oh, I didn't even go that route. Oh. Can I have 2 scoops too?
Yes, you guys. You can have a one famous, one family.
I lost one of my childhood best friends when we were graduating high school, and that's who I'd want to have the second scoop with. Yeah. Rob. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't go the sentimental route. Like, I'm just thinking like, cool, I want to share a scoop of ice cream.
Well, because I don't really have like
what
a
can I learn?
celebrity like icon like you do. So I guess that's why I'm not really. Doesn't really bother
Anybody
me.
from Shark Tank for me, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just have a Sunday and share with them all.
Where have you vacation that you are dying to go, but also your tips for traveling? Because like you guys are like, you look at your Instagram, you guys are all over just living it, and there's so many people that like want to go places and just do it, but they don't. And so I feel like you guys probably have some good tips and advice.
It's so much easier than you think. It's so much easier than I ever thought, and that I still don't believe it's as easy as she makes it. It's insane.
Yeah. One of the top places on our list that we want to go to together is Machu Picchu in Peru. So I don't think they're open yet because of COVID, but that's definitely on the top of my list because I think, you know, it's not going to be around forever. It's kind of degrading. So, or down.
Degrading.
Is that okay?
Eroding.
Eroding. Yeah.
It's not downgrading. You can't downgrade a mountain.
No, I guess not. So yeah, I really want to go there.
Machu Picchu, Bali.
Yeah, because
I think that's on everybody's list, though. Everybody in the whole world.
yeah.
But
one of my big like once in a lifetime trips, which I never say that because in my opinion, you can literally go anywhere you want in your lifetime as many times as you want. There's very affordable ways to travel anywhere you want to go. But one place that I'm realistic that's not affordable that would really be a once in a lifetime trip would be going to Bora Bora. So I want to do that for like maybe like a big anniversary, 5 years or something.
it's right around the corner.
3 years.
I'll look. Okay.
You guys
I'm going to
are
Bora Bora in 3 years.
You guys are seriously so awesome. Like I've interviewed so many people and I just love the dynamic between you. I saw someone earlier just saying, I love when they just go off, and I'm like, me too. It's so fun to watch. And you guys are just such a great couple.
We'll sidebar. We'll get in a conversation and just run with them for a while.
But yeah, if you guys want tips about traveling, I started a travel blog now. It's on the bio link in my Insta profile. It's not full. Like I clearly have a lot of work to do to add more places there, but I've been trying to upkeep with, especially the most recent places I've been recently, on how I got there, what flight deals I used, what websites I used, what tour companies I booked. So you can literally just, one of my friends messaged me the other day and he says, Steph, I don't even need to plan a vacation. I'm literally just doing everything you did.
Yeah, people are
and
copying vacations exact for exact.
Yeah,
we're going to start seeing recreations of photos that we've taken and posted on our Instagram from our followers
That'll be
in
awesome.
the exact places too. And that would be awesome.
Tag me
Anybody
in it,
goes
so.
places that we've been and you want to recreate a photo, do it. It's fun.
You're doing all these trips together, but then there's people that like they just want to go see the world, but maybe they haven't found each other like you guys have. So like they're kind of scared to go solo, or I don't know, Stephanie, maybe you have resources like people, maybe you traveled in groups before, or you know, just something to get people, because you guys, if you look at your Instagram, like it's inspiring. It makes people like want to go see places and do things, but like you guys have each other. Maybe there's people that want to travel that don't yet.
Yeah, so on my blog also, I've listed a couple places where I have traveled by myself and I felt completely safe as just like a female traveling around. So you can definitely do that if you need alone time or you just want to go somewhere even if you don't have company. If you're not that bold and you really don't want to go anywhere unless you have someone, there are plenty of travel groups out there, especially for women, where you can go on a Facebook group and they've got like single women travel groups and they create trips and you can sign up and go on these trips together and you meet people on these trips. They're trips created specifically for single solo travelers. And then you just have buddies to travel with.
No,
And you don't have
that's
to plan the trip because they plan it all for you. You just make the payment and you show up at the airport and you meet all the other single people at the destination.
You just went to Aruba by yourself. My passport expired and I didn't realize it. And we didn't get it back it was taking way too long because of the pandemic, and never came back. So she jetted off to Aruba by herself, and because I couldn't jump on.
I'm glad you brought that up because people were like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? Why did she go? Why did she go on the trip alone?" Like that was actually one of the questions that I was meaning to ask earlier because people were so concerned. And I mean, watch you guys. I'm like, clearly they're good, but people were like, "What happened? Why was she by herself?" That kind of.
She's
thing.
allowed to be by herself. I mean, she can take trips by herself,
and that's fine because a lot of people probably just don't realize me, but I travel a lot solo for years. It's a hobby of mine, just like someone else might have a hobby of cooking. So I spend all my money and resources to be able to travel. And I don't care if I have to do it alone. I'm just not going to go somewhere that I feel unsafe alone, but I'll go by myself. I don't care.
And because I own my own business, it's different for me. I don't have PTO. So my travel, I can't travel as extensively as she does. But she needs her travel to help disconnect her from work and kind of reset. So, and I completely understand that travel makes her happy. So there's going to be times that you're going to see her on vacation without me. There might be times you might see me visiting friends in a different state or somewhere without her. It's not a big deal, people. So
the scariest thing was probably when I was in India, because I was there for work for a couple months in 2016. And from India, flights around that area are very cheap. So I would totally take the opportunity and fly every other weekend to a different place around India, and I would go by myself. So it was awesome. But
with Aruba, I was a little uncomfortable, but we make it a point. She calls every night, lets me know that she's safe. Multiple times she checks in during the day, just, hey, I'm safe, or a quick text. I just like to know she's in the room at night. And if you're staying at all inclusive, don't go outside the walls. I give her the speech like it's children going away somewhere for summer camp or something. Like,
make sure you're at a trustworthy hotel,
yeah,
not like a skeevy like Airbnb.
Don't take the back alley as a shortcut, like just stuff like that, and just makes me feel a little bit comfortable. But I do double check to make sure that where she's going is going to be safe. But she's on top of it so much more than I am. So if I double check, she's probably quadruple checked already. So
if people want a trip, they just need to go check out Steph's blog, and she's got it planned out for them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. I literally think we could talk to you for just hours and hours, but I'll be respectful.
Oh, it's over already?
So, well, I mean, I could keep talking to you guys, but I know that you guys probably have things to do. But I wanted, at least, like, for your last thing, I just wanted you guys to share a message, because I will say you two have some of the most loyal fans, and people just love you guys. I just didn't know if you guys had, like, a message for people or wanted to answer any questions that you might get often or anything like that.
I often get the question of, because the one scene was aired about work, how work's going, and it's going great. I'm doing free resume reviews and helping people get back to work. I'm helping America get back to work. So send it over, futureforcetalent.com.
Yeah. And what question? I get a lot of travel questions. So, and I love answering them. That's like one of my favorite things to do is talk about travel. So if you have questions, send me a message, send me a DM. I have the link to my email, like in my IG profile in the blog. So you can send that to me too. And I'm happy to chat more.
You threw me off with IG. I was like, IG. Instagram. Kids these days.
But no, we love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Supporting us, and thanks for following us through our journey. It's been fun. And
we'll be back in Couples Cam. Couples Cam new season is starting in January, I believe. It's going to run alongside the new season of MAF. So we're having new adventures and shooting new scenes as we speak. Like, we're in the middle of it, so we're having a lot of fun, and we'll bring a lot more for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And I'm going to sum this up with what Philly's fan 1320 said. They said, because they're a classy couple that make it easy to like them, and they're good people. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate everybody. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you too.
Awesome. You guys have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching The Sarah Scoop Show. Head to sarahscoop.com for more.